Before any of that, super quickly, brief history of my entire life. I'm Matt. Those are my animals over there. You've got Kodo, rescue cat, and then Callie, top right, the Cocker Spaniel, also a rescue. I run Pet Engine Marketing. We are a digital marketing agency for pet businesses. I'm also the co-founder of the Pet Industry Network. We are a collective of vetted, trustworthy service providers in the pet industry. I started working in the pet industry when I was like 15 or 16. That bottom picture is my family's golden retriever. Her name is Nikki, and she's standing on a pallet of pet food in the back, in like the storeroom of this indie retailer. I worked there. That was like my first job in high school. So that was kind of when I got introduced to the pet industry. I've been in business for myself about 7 years now, and yeah, that's enough about myself. So let's talk about what all this stuff is. We gotta get some terms out of the way just to make sure we're all on the same page. So first off, search engine marketing is this umbrella term. It essentially stands for, basically it's a digital marketing strategy that is used to increase the visibility of a website or your website in search engine results. Quick bit of glossary and terminology here, so we're all talking about the same stuff. SEO, also known as search engine optimization. Got to optimize your website to improve your rank in organic search results. Organic means you earned that rank, you earned that placement rather than paying for it. Organic traffic, that's visits to your website through organic search engine results. SERP is the search engine result page. That's the page that appears after a Google search. Then we have keywords. Okay, these are words or phrases that users type into search engines to find info on a topic. Any term is a keyword. Then we've got conversions. That's the action that you're looking for the user to take. And then last but not least, we have backlinks. Backlinks are links from one page on the internet to another website. Okay, got all this jargon out of the way. So these terms will make a little bit more sense, hopefully 45 minutes down the road. SEM, which stands for search engine marketing, is this umbrella term. There's basically two areas for SEM. You've got SEO, which is your organic search results, and then you have PPC, that stands for pay per click, and that's going to be your paid search results. Within those, SEO, you've got about at least two algorithms. You've got local SEO, then you have traditional SEO. Within PPC, you've got Google ads and everything that covers, and then you also have local services ads. So there's a bunch of sub areas in each of those. Today, we're really just going to focus on traditional SEO, primarily meant for brands, online businesses, things like that. Local SEO is going to be for your brick and mortar or local service-based business. I'm giving a presentation tomorrow that is almost primarily on local SEO through the Global Education Series. I think that's at 11:30, so if you want to learn more about that, or if you have a brick and mortar business, we'll be chatting about that then. Okay, a few more things. Just a quick kind of Venn diagram. You're gonna start to love Venn diagrams here. So all this is search engine marketing, right? You've got SEO, and then you have PPC on the right. They both drive traffic to your website from a search engine. SEO is considered organic, whereas pay-per-click is paid. SEO also normally brings you some long-term results, whereas pay-per-click can give you your immediate results. As SEO is going to give you more consistent results, whereas pay-per-click, if you run out of budget, you don't get those results anymore. And then a quick generalization, pay-per-click is generally meant to generate leads. That doesn't mean that SEO can't generate leads, but one thing SEO really does is it builds trust. It establishes you as an authority or builds some credibility for you. Okay, let's talk about how Google works. It's pretty straightforward. If you're not first, you're last. Unfortunately, that is because of some simple facts here, right? So 68% of all website traffic comes from a search engine, and Google has about 80% of the market share with 7 billion searches per day or 81,000 searches per second. So that's great, right? We just use Google and you get website traffic and sales. That would be awesome, right? Unless you don't rank highly, then it's difficult, right? It's tough sledding because the top 5 really rake it in. Top 5 results get about 69% of the clicks. 75% of all Google users don't look past the first page. And 96% of website content that people spend time, energy, money on putting out into the internet, it doesn't get found at all. So I think most people would agree being first is pretty nice, right? Feels good, usually pays pretty well, gets a lot of attention. But truly, if you ain't first, you're last. So how do we rank highly? This is how a search engine works. Google's bots, also known as a spider, crawls your website and reviews your pages. Google then indexes that content, and then if your content meets ranking criteria, Google will show it in the search engine results page. What is this ranking criteria? We're going to get into that in a little bit here. All right, another Venn diagram. This is going to be super familiar by the end of this. So we've got 3 areas of traditional SEO. Ranking highly generally means you got to hit the sweet spot. You got to be good at all 3 of them. So at the top, you've got technical SEO. This is the kind of under the hood aspects of your website that can affect your rankings. On the right, you've got on page. This is generally the content that you create. Hopefully you're optimizing it for your target keywords and those related terms to help you increase rankings for those terms. And then on the left, you've got off-page SEO. This is generally backlinks, but there's a few more aspects here. Backlinks are when you link from one website to another on the internet. Acquiring and managing them from authoritative and relevant sources can really help you from an SEO standpoint. So hitting the sweet spot means that your website is great from a technical standpoint, your content is optimized for those keywords, and you have other websites on the internet that are referring traffic to you. So you're essentially becoming this authoritative, relevant source that indicates Google trusts you, so Google can send traffic to you. Okay, let's talk about traditional SEO and strategy. I've broken it down into 3 areas here. I think everything starts with research. Definitely more important to start with a strategy rather than like throwing things at the wall. It's really easy to burn a pile of money on SEO and go in the wrong direction. So slow down, start with some research and some strategy, then move into the execution phase, and then optimize. As far as optimizing goes, very few things in marketing are like a set it and forget it thing. You have to iterate, you have to improve it over time. So let's talk about the first part. So in SEO research, we've got roughly 5 areas to cover. Goals and road mapping, we want to talk about customer personas, then search intent, number 4 is keyword research, and then number 5 is competitive research. So let's start with some goals. I always feel like your SEO goals should be tied to your business goals. It could be as simple as driving more organic traffic to the site. So if your business goals are sales, then maybe organic traffic will help. And maybe your goals are increasing your credibility or your authority or becoming a thought leader in your space. Increasing your backlinks and some of those trusted referring domains, that's definitely a good place to start. Or maybe you've already got a lot of traffic to your site and you don't understand why you're low on conversions. So maybe optimizing your site for user interface or user experience and technical SEO can help you improve in that. Different goals have different KPIs, otherwise known as key performance indicators that you should be tracking. We're going to also cover that in section 8, so we'll get more into that later. All right, let's talk a little bit about customer personas. Understanding your customer is super important. I would recommend don't waste time getting data that won't help you. Get data that helps you target them on platforms. What I mean by that is talking about demographics, right? Age, gender, background. It doesn't really matter if they drive a sports car or a minivan, usually. Sources of influence, I think, is a big one. Who do they listen to? What social media accounts do they follow? Who influences their decision making? Other identifiers, such as behavioral or psychographics, like how they make decisions, whether they are or aren't on social media. Do they use search engines to support their sales decisions? Do they do any research, or is their purchasing decision solely driven by impulse? Super important to know your customer. Some of their pain points as well is always important. What features or benefits does your product or service solve for them? Does it eliminate those problems? And then what are they looking to achieve? What are their goals? I think it's super important to understand your customer just so that you can speak to them and help them find your product or service online as well. Understanding the customer journey, I think, is equally important, right? So how are people discovering or considering or buying your product? And where in their journey does the search engine come into play in that process? Again, we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. Let's talk about search intent. So search intent is essentially the reason behind a searcher's query. And Google's goal is to provide the most relevant search result to that searcher, right? They want to make it easy. They don't want to send people to the wrong website. They're also tracking everything that you do on Google. So they want to make sure that, if people are looking for something like pet store marketing, they're going to the right place. So here's like a traditional sales funnel, right? You've got awareness, you've got consideration, you've got conversion, and then loyalty. Awareness is where people are just discovering your product. Consideration, maybe they're weighing up their options. Conversion, that's usually a sale, or maybe they're booking an appointment. And then loyalty, they're advocating for you, or they're a loyal customer. So at the top, right, let's say someone realizes they need to take care of their dog's teeth better. So they're going to look for maybe the best dog toothbrush, and I would say their intent is primarily discovery, right? Like they're looking for information. Further down, maybe they're considering your brand of dog toothbrush versus a different brand, right? Verbac dog toothbrush. They're looking for additional information, but they're also considering how to see you weigh up against your competition. Let's say they like yours, right? They want to buy yours. They're looking to purchase, and they're looking for places to purchase this dog toothbrush. Maybe that's your website, maybe that's a different reseller that your product is on. And then last but not least, let's say eventually they've purchased your dog toothbrush, they're ready to buy again, they're gonna look you up by brand. This is usually a direct or branded search, so there's no discovery being involved. But this just goes to show that there's a lot of different reasons why people search for specific products or use Google for specific things. So you've got all of these different types of searches, right? The thing is, you'd want to create different kinds of content that is optimized for search engines on your website to hit these customers in different spots, right? Like maybe you have a landing page that talks about how your brand compares with Verbac. You probably have a product page that helps people buy that product. You probably also have some blog posts that might help them understand what is the best dog toothbrush? Why is your toothbrush the best one? If this is feeling like this is a big project, it's because in a competitive market, it is a big project. It's a lot to deal with, and it's a lot to create. So before we start creating anything, I would say keyword research is a really good place to start. Once you've figured out your goals, you understand your customer a little bit better, you understand the journey and how Google plays into that journey, let's talk a little bit about keyword research. So I would say keyword research, really great way to burn a pile of money on SEO. Just because you would search for a product in that way doesn't mean every single one of your customers would use Google to search for your product in that way. So it doesn't mean it's the only way to do it or even the obvious way to do it. And you think a little bit differently from your customers most likely. So understanding kind of what the landscape looks like, keyword research is really going to help you there. So how do we do keyword research? There are some paid options and there are some free options. Everything that I've listed here has at least a free option for it. However, if you're serious about SEO, I feel like you should hire an expert to do the keyword research and provide you with some direction based on this paid software that can get you more precise data, make some insights based on search volume, keyword difficulty, other metrics. So Google Ads Keyword Planner, that's essentially like a sandbox to play in through Google Ads, but it can help you generate some keywords. Ahrefs is pretty well known in the SEO world. You enter a keyword and it can come up with related searches. WordStream, over there on the right, you can actually enter a website and it will come up with keywords that that website ranks for. Down here is just your basic Google search, but there's like a autofill, right? So let's say you're looking for best dog toothbrush. This is going to give you some specific content that maybe you want to rank for. Also Asked is a really cool website that gives you you put in a keyword and it shows you what people also asked for regarding that keyword. And then over there on the right is a website called Answer the Public, also a pretty cool website that gives you a bunch of like questions and statements about what else people are looking to figure out around a specific keyword or key phrase. So those are all really cool free resources. And this is the kind of info that you can get from like paid keyword research. So why do we even need keyword research if we have all of those free options? Beyond the obvious point of wanting to show up for searches that maybe your prospects or customers will find you on, it's understanding the landscape around you and where you want to put your effort. So what I have circled here is a metric called keyword difficulty, or KD. Keyword difficulty is pretty much what it sounds like, right? This is a measurement of how hard it is to rank for a search like this. So at the top, you've got best dog food and best dog food brands. These are really general, right? Really broad terms, incredibly competitive, super difficult to rank. Down at the bottom, you've got best dog food for pit bulls with a 7. 7 means it's much easier to rank. That's also much more specific. There's going to be less keyword volume, but also less competition. So generally, these longer, more specific keywords or phrases are going to be a little bit easier to rank. But some of those broader, shorter ones, incredibly challenging as well as expensive. So just goes to show there's riches in niches. Let's talk about competitive research and why this matters at all. So I think you do have to understand the competitive landscape. WordStream, again, let's say you have, we'll use dog toothbrush. Verbac, right? Like maybe you put their website in there, you try and find out where they rank or what kind of content they're creating. Through keyword research, I think you can find what keywords your competitors rank on and where they're getting traffic from. You can also find out where they don't rank and where you maybe want to kind of exploit or pursue from like a keyword or SEO standpoint. The other thing that I would say is you can get a better idea of like where your sources of influence are for your customer persona. So maybe they really trust like Pamela's reviews in the Pets Plus magazine monthly boxes. So that might give you an opportunity for some product placement. That can also help you with a backlink in a trusted source. Okay, so we've spent hours and hours doing research. Let's get to the execution side of things. So remember this, we're going to work on hitting the sweet spot right now. So we've got our strategy, and we essentially need a plan to optimize these 3 key areas. So when it comes to technical SEO, this is all of your kind of under the hood stuff on your website, right? We're talking site security, site speed, indexation, UI and UX, that's user interface and user experience. You've got accessibility, schema, lazy loading, canonical URLs, all super technical stuff. Also kind of challenging to do if you don't necessarily know what's going on the back end of your website. On the right, you've got on-page SEO. This is generally a little bit easier for like a layman to do, but as I was saying before, it's really easy to maybe approach it from a scattered mindset and you don't necessarily know which keywords to go after, and you might end up going after best dog food or best dog food brands and wasting a bunch of time and money doing it. So creating content for the right keywords is super important. Optimizing your images for those keywords too, and then metadata and internal links. We're going to go over all of this stuff in depth in the next few slides. Last but not least, on the left you've got off-page SEO. Generally, this is like backlinks, guest posting, more content marketing, PR or public relations, and then social media. Yes, social media does play a role in how you rank on organic search. So let's start with technical SEO, right? This is the under the hood aspects of your site that can affect your rankings. Now we're going to talk about this ranking criteria, right? Remember this slide, Google's bots, they spiders, they review your website, Google indexes it, and then if your content meets this criteria that Google's looking for, then Google will show it in the search engine results page. Easy peasy, right? So here's some, but not all, of the criteria that Google spiders are looking at for a website. Some of these are like really quick and easy, and we probably won't spend a ton of time on it. There are others that do take a little bit more time. Site architecture is huge, right? If Google can't understand how your information is organized or how your website is organized, chances are your visitors, like the real humans, they can't either. So organizing your info and organizing your website in a way that is easy to use, has a understandable user interface, and makes the experience smooth, super, super important. So building that user-friendly website is really critical. It's probably one of the most important things from a technical SEO standpoint. I would say, in general, your goal for site architecture is to minimize the number of clicks or steps that it takes for a user to find the information that they're looking for. There we go. If your sitemap is not submitted on Google Search Console, then Google will not show your website in the search engine results page. So this is like a necessary step. Google Search Console is a free little software platform that Google provides. It's pretty straightforward to use. This can take like 10 seconds. So you would set up an account on Google Search Console, you verify your website, then go to Sitemaps, you add your sitemap, and then you get this green little success icon. That's awesome. That means your website is essentially going to get indexed. So super easy. Sometimes that's overlooked. Also incredibly important if you want to show up on Google. Okay, Site security, site speed, and mobile optimization. So a lot of websites and domain hosts have security built into it. They've got code compression, they've got mobile optimization built in. Not all of them do. Some of the older ones, some of the older websites don't optimize well for mobile. That can absolutely kill you from an SEO standpoint. Over half of website visitors are using a mobile device these days, so it almost makes more sense to specifically optimize your site for mobile layout rather than desktop, even if desktop might look a little bit better. Down at the bottom there, if you see this not secure sign in your browser window at the top, that's a bad sign. That means that your site is not secure, and Google's definitely going to ding you for that. Again, some platforms are better than others for this. Some have it sort of built in. No duplicated content. This is a waste of space, so don't do it. Schema markup. This essentially provides more information to Google about your page. So it's especially helpful for local businesses with information like name, address, and phone number, but it can also be built into traditional SEO content as well. These richer reviews, you can see they've got star ratings, they have additional links, maybe they answer questions, related questions. These tend to have a higher click-through rate as well as a higher ranking. So you have to implement schema markup in order to get these pages to look like this on the search engine results page. The thing about schema markup is different website platforms have it set up in different ways. So normally they will have walkthroughs and tutorials on how to implement it and how to set up on your back end. I can't speak for every single website platform or builder out there though. Broken links. Basically finding and fixing these, because dead links and dead pages make users unhappy, and that also makes Google unhappy. So biggest area where I've seen like issues here, let's say you have a site that goes through some big changes, or maybe you're rebranding or you're restructuring a lot of things. If you have internal links that link to other pages and those links or those URLs have changed, then those links no longer work on those pages. That can make this kind of a huge project all on its own. There are some free scans out there that can notify you of broken links on your website, and you essentially just search Google for a free SEO scan, and it should point those out for you. Okay, on-page SEO, creating site content, optimizing it for target keywords and related terms to increase our ranking. So this is where we can use some of the creativity when it comes to creating content for SEO. We're going to focus on 5 specific areas: content, keywords, metadata, image optimization, and then internal linking. I've also picked this Dog Bandana Company website as an example here. So when it comes to content, our goal is to build topical authority. I see people jumping into content, like creating content so quickly, even before strategy or keyword research, and I think you can create content and start ranking for the wrong keywords, which end up doing nothing for you or end up sending a bunch of traffic to your website that ultimately doesn't convert or result in a sale. So I think it really makes sense to start with strategy, find the keywords that you really want to approach and go after. So this is what topical authority kind of looks like. This is what a content cluster is. I've seen this considered like the hub and spoke method or pillar content. I've also seen it called the paw print method. But if we use this Dog Bandana website as our example, your main keyword is going to be dog bandana, something like that. So you might want to create some content around that so that you start to rank for those specific questions, which helps your primary keyword, your hub or your pillar. So should dogs wear bandanas, or do bandanas keep dogs cool? Why do dogs wear bandanas? What size is a normal dog bandana? Again, keyword research can really help you with content ideas here, but this is essentially what a content cluster would look like. Most websites that are pursuing SEO have tons of these going on at once. So they're creating a ton of content all the time. Okay, on to keywords. What do we do with our keywords after our research? Our goal is to rank for the keywords that we're pursuing to hit those business goals that we've set out. So we're going to use them in page titles, metadata, headings, and images. So our keywords have to help us rank, right? Here's your page title, and then here's your meta description. Page titles are the most heavily weighted SEO elements, so getting them right is super important. Now, based on this website's page title, I would think they're pursuing, key phrases like shop online dog bandanas, which is going to be super broad, but they've added this additional identifier being trendy Now that's going to narrow that scope a little bit, right? We're not looking for just any dog bandana. We're looking for something that's like kind of chic or fashionable or trendy, as they describe it. However, I'm not seeing it listed in the meta description there, so there's definitely some improvements to be made. Here's an example of a heading, right? We've got best sellers, and here's how I would change it. Best-selling trendy dog bandanas. This might seem a little bit redundant, right? But if we've done keyword research and we find that there's an opportunity in a keyword to pursue like trendy dog bandanas, then this is what I'm going to do, right? It does seem a little bit redundant, but ultimately it's about making things extremely simple for Google to scan. Ultimately, your headings are super important and because they're used to break up content and help users decipher information on the website. So you should only have one H1 heading. That's essentially like your biggest heading on one page, right? So if you have more H1 headings than that, consider breaking it up into H2 headings and then subheadings beneath that. So your overarching theme of that page is going to be your H1 heading. The reason for this is that people tend to read left to right, biggest to smallest, and top to bottom. So headings inform people of the hierarchy and value of the information on their website. Not only does it improve user experience, but it helps people decipher information and find the information they're looking for. I like to think of it as like a glossary or like a table of contents. It helps you find the thing that you're looking for on that website. Google spiders work in pretty much the same way. If you make it simple for them, then they have a better idea of what your page is trying to provide from a content standpoint, and that's going to help you rank a little bit higher. So here's our metadata, right? Again, we want to keep this simple for Google and let users know what kind of content is on this page, right? Keywords here are super important, right? It should provide information about what they're going to find on this site. Beneath this as well, you've got your metadata for those other pages on the website. I haven't highlighted those, but there's definitely improvements to be made, right? One of them just says 92 products, 4x1 waterproof hands-free dog leash. And there's just a continue shopping page. Nashville Strong Dog or Bourbon Dog Bandana, these are specific product or category pages, but I'm not seeing those keywords specifically in the metadata right away. So there's definitely a way to improve on all of these. Image optimization. The goal here is to help a search engine like Google understand the subject matter of an image and how it relates to your page content. So essentially, what we're looking to do here is provide alt text, right? This is so Google can understand this content better. Alt text also does provide a boost for you from a technical SEO standpoint when it comes to accessibility. So screen readers or people that are like visually impaired, they can know that there's a picture of a cute cat rather than image 584.792.png. That's going to help them out a little bit better. It also helps Google. So compressing your images properly as well, you want to try and shrink the file size. This can help you load the page faster, load the website faster. That's going to create a happier search engine as well as a happier user. Okay, internal links. Again, this helps Google find, index, and understand all of the pages on your content. So here's our content cluster, right? We've got a keyword for dog bandana. So you're going to have a page, this pillar page, that's all about your dog bandanas and linking to these individual blog posts as you answer these questions. You want to create some internal links and some internal hierarchy and structure around the content you create. Otherwise, stuff is just sort of floating and you're hoping that Google's going to pick it up. This is going to help your users navigate the site and find the information that they want. Here's another example of internal links, essentially how your site hierarchy and structure can help people find the information that they're looking for. So these are probably some of the most important factors that influence how well your website ranks, but that's not all of them. These are just probably the top 5 for on-page SEO. Okay, been a while since we've seen this Venn diagram. Hope you guys have missed it, but we're on to our last piece, off-page SEO. So this is basically managing backlinks or acquiring backlinks from other websites in the space. So I've given a few examples here of good backlinks in the pet industry because not all links are created equally. We're looking for websites that have good or great authority and relevance to your niche or business. So in the pet space, there's many. These are just a few examples. We've got Global Pet Expo, you've got Pet Business, you've got Pets Plus Mag. The main difference here is that these are not your local church sites or your youth Little League team or your neighborhood watch site. You need some heavy hitters. talking like Forbes or New York Times. Those are some serious heavy hitters. In the pet space, sites like these definitely help. They're really, really good. They're relevant, they drive a lot of traffic. You get a bunch of referral traffic from them when people see your content on those websites. They also have plenty of inbound and outbound links too. Websites like Forbes and New York Times, super expensive, but can also be incredibly valuable from an SEO standpoint. Guest posts are pretty much exactly what they sound like, right? Like you would post on somebody else's blogs. It can include a backlink or several backlinks, so you get some referral traffic from those links. But it can also help you build some credibility, reach that blog's audience, and you can also write with keywords on your subject matter that helps you out as well. So there are hundreds, if not thousands, of blogs to choose from. Some of them are going to be better than others. Sometimes you can trade to get a backlink. Sometimes you'll have to pay. Or maybe at some point you can reach like a point in your own business where people will pay you to get a backlink on your page. Content marketing. This takes a bunch of different formats, right? It could be videos, could be podcasts, infographics, research, like proprietary data. Anything that can get shared and can bring you links and referral traffic, I would consider to be content marketing. PR or public relations can really help. So most of these sites generally have high domain authority and Google trusts them. So organic PR is really great, but paid PR works just fine as well. For local businesses with a local presence that are going after local SEO, your localized news like sources might actually be better than Forbes. Essentially, if you've got a really big target for SEO, like if your audience is national or global, then those bigger links are going to get you more action and a little bit more traction too. Those are also going to be tougher to get, but they have bigger impact. Here's how social media helps with SEO. So your content on your website gets published. That's number one. It gets shares on social, and your website gets traffic from social. Let's say you build a community around this, and your reputation is reinforced through social metrics and traffic to the website from social sources. So your site begins to gain additional authority in search engines through some of this off-page SEO work that you're doing. And then last but not least, number 5 up there, you have a sustainable stream of users that discover your website organically, and you're continually putting out new content that works for them. So social media can definitely help you as like a megaphone, right? If you're going to create content, make sure that you're putting that content in front of your audience in a bunch of different places. You should really be distributing your content frequently and more than once. So I think a mistake that I see a lot with businesses is they spend a ton of time creating really good content and assume that's it, right? Like they'll post it, maybe they'll share it on social, but they never bring it back up. They never post it again. They're never trying to maximize the return on that piece of content that they just spent time and money on. So ultimately, I think this is the last time you see this diagram. So finally, let's say we've got everything working for us, right? Like we spent time on technical, on-page, and off-page SEO. You've built out the strategy. You're tackling all 3 of these areas. How do we know any of this is working, right? Now what? Tracking an ROI, super duper important. So if you don't know what the point in doing all of this is, if we don't optimize and improve over time, then the chances of our success decreases significantly. So I like to say that what gets measured gets improved. You got to be looking at the data and improving what you've got going on. So here's some of the data that I like to look at. Google Search Console, going to be your best friend. I like to track impressions on Google, your Google rankings, your clicks from Google as well as where you rank for certain terms. This can be found in this free software from Google. Ranking for those terms that you want to rank for is definitely going to be a measurement of success, but it's not the only thing, right? I think it's important to know where you rank and what you rank for, but it's also important to know where you don't rank and kind of where you're lacking. This can help you determine your strategy over time, whether you want to shift your focus or pivot a little bit. And it can also help you optimize some of the content that's already been published. You can adjust like the keyword focus for a blog post that you put out a year ago in the hopes that it can support your efforts to rank for a keyword that you're going after today. Again, SEO is really not this like set it and forget it thing, and very few things in marketing is. Google Analytics, another free software that measures site metrics. So organic search traffic is still going to be a huge metric to look at. This is going to be the number of people that are visiting your website by finding you organically through search. I think running a site audit that picks up on your issues and errors, if you're ironing those out over time, then those critical errors and some of those less critical errors should go down as you each site audit. Here's essentially a bunch of metrics that you would look at for SEO. So starting at the top right there, you've got conversions, customer lifetime value, cost per acquisition, your return on investment, organic sessions, your keyword rankings, your backlinks, your organic click-through rate, and then ultimately like your user engagement on your website. Almost all of these things can be tracked through something like Search Console or through analytics, other than the business metrics. And you'll see that some of these are tied directly to your business metrics, right? ROI, cost per acquisition, customer lifetime value, conversions. Those are what's really important to your business, and it's all tied into marketing. And your SEO is definitely part of your marketing mix here. So that's kind of it for today. It's a little bit early, but there's definitely time for questions. Quick wrap up, since we did cover a lot of ground here. All of this stuff is search engine marketing, right? It's an umbrella term comprised of SEO and PPC. Google works by technical SEO, on-page SEO, and off-page SEO. If we're trying to hit that sweet spot, then hopefully we're starting to rank for some of the content that we've got. We've got a question back here.
How important do you think blogging is for your SEO? And do you like any particular software for blogging, like Surfer or?
So the question was how important blogging is for SEO, and if I like specific software for SEO, or for blogging specifically, like Surfer SEO. So I think blogging is one of the most important things for SEO. I think you have to be creating content. The only time that I would say that it's not important is if all of your competitors are not doing it as well. Chances are that's not what's happening. I think most of your competitors have some kind of content out there, whether that is even a website, but blogging can help your website rank higher. As far as software goes, I've never used Surfer SEO, but I know it's at least AI assisted. I would say that any software that uses AI to help write your blogs, I would not hit publish right away. I think anything that is created by AI should be AI assisted, But something like Surfer SEO can help you with some of the keywords to focus on. It can also help you figure out if the content that you created is like of a good length or your keyword density is optimal. So definitely helpful. I don't know that I have a specific recommendation for it though.
Are there any other ones that come to mind though? Because I don't really care for the Surfer one.
So, ChatGPT will definitely create content. Ryan, you use one as well. I forget the name of it. Jasper's another one. And then there is also you can get plugins for a WordPress website like Rank Math or Yoast SEO that can help you figure out what's going on with the content that you create. So that's a plugin. It's not going to create that content for you, but it will give you kind of a rating of your content health, like your blog post health.
If you use the word too many times or enough times, does it give you that information?
Yeah, it does. It can also help you it'll prompt you to say, okay, if this is your keyword focus, then you should also have it in the metadata, and you should also have it in the page title. And if it doesn't find that stuff in there, it'll notify you and say, hey, here's a red exclamation point. You should fix this here and there. So, good questions. SEO strategy, right? I would say you have to start with strategy, otherwise you're going to waste some time, money, and effort on SEO. Technical SEO, really just about making the site user-friendly, speedy, as optimized as possible. On-page, goal is to achieve topical authority through content clusters, which is going to help you rise up the rankings. Off-page, where the right kinds of links can become your friends. Some links are going to be worth more than others. What gets measured gets improved when it comes to ROI and tracking, right? There is definitely free software out there provided by Google to give you enough data to get you started or going in the right direction. And then, this is the end. So 6 key takeaways from this. If you want to build out a successful SEO strategy, I would say numbers 1 and 2, that's going to be the research portion. Numbers 3 and 4 is going to be your execution. And numbers 5 and 6 is optimization. So number 1, understand your business, competition, and your target audience. Number 2, identify some high-value topics through thorough keyword research that can help you create some of this shareable content with your end user in mind. Ultimately, you want it to be helpful, right? You want people to get some value from the content that you put out there. Number 4, plan some passive and manual link acquisition opportunities. So whether that means reaching out to people directly or building partnerships with other businesses in your industry or in your space can be incredibly valuable. Number 5, you gotta establish some of those performance metrics that mean something to your business, and then start tracking your progress on your work. And then number 6, last but not least, optimize your content and your website to improve your performance over time. So definitely have some time for questions, or if you want to come up here and chat with me alone, you can definitely do that. You can reach me by email. Here's my contact information. You can download the slides on that website. The link is down there as well. And I'm also at booth 4804 at Global, so I'd love it if you came in and said hello. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.